That's so funny because shocked is exactly what he said he was. When I decided that I was going to tell him that I wanted a divorce, I texted my therapist, our marriage counselor, and I was like, I need to tell him that I want a divorce, but I want to do it in a session so that there's like a mediator present. Got us in like ASAP, like 2 days later. And I walked in knowing that I was going to ask for a divorce. And so by the way, these are insane. And it's my pre-workout snack today. So if you like cinnamon and you like cinnamon rolls and you like cookies and you like sweet things, then you need these ASAP. They're like covered in cinnamon sugar. Oh my gosh. Anyway, we sit down in our session. It's like really tense, really awkward. My ex was sitting there like, so why do we have an emergency session? The therapist was like, Jamie, do you want to start? And I just started crying and I was like, I want a divorce. You know, it's hard for me to like say the words. I was like, I'm done. I want a divorce. He sat there quiet. I'm sitting next to him crying. He didn't move. He didn't look at me. He didn't react at all. He just was stone cold. And eventually our therapist was like, would you like to respond? He goes, honestly, I'm just shocked. I was like, you're what? I like became a dragon. And I know, and I want to be clear. Our marriage deteriorated because of both of us. It was not his fault. We both became toxic versions of each other, of ourselves. And we both, led to the demise of our marriage. It's okay. We both were complicit in that. But I'm thinking like, we've been in therapy for 2 years and we're actually worse now because we're both growing separately and we're not growing back together. Like you cannot, like, I was stunned that he would say shocked instead of like, yeah, I get it. Like take the mask off for a minute and just acknowledge that this has been not fun for anybody and this has gotten worse. And I was like, this has happened, this hasn't happened, blah, blah, blah. And
Ugh.
I just said, honestly, if you are shocked, then you are not paying attention. And that just tells me everything that I need to know.
So let me get this straight. This is so ridiculous. So she planned her exit, right? She sat down with him and a therapist, basically so she wouldn't have to do it alone. And she wanted to make sure everything was set up so that she could ambush him, basically, and catch him off guard. Meanwhile, this woman here is fully prepared. She knows exactly what she's going here to do. She has kind of like backup. She's prepared the therapist. So yeah, she's set up this ambush. She's got backup even, and she's ready. And then she gets mad at how he responds. What a toxic woman. So for one, she didn't have the guts to say it at home, right? So like I said, she set up this like therapy ambush. And I mean, that tells you enough about this woman that she needs like a controlled space so she could dictate and control the conversation. And, she even gets to the point where she says, it was hard for me to actually say the words. If it's hard for you to say the words, imagine how hard it is to hear them. It would make sense that he would say he is shocked. Like he's shocked. You caught him off guard. Your ambush worked. Congratulations. He's fucking shocked. So why is she mad that he's shocked? She's so manipulative and controlling. She feels it's her right to determine whether or not his response to being divorced is appropriate. Wait, that is absurd. I mean, this woman here, listening to her describe what happened and hearing about this, I mean, this just tells you how awful this marriage must have been for this guy. Can you imagine? A woman divorces you, and then your response to her divorcing you doesn't quite cut it for her. And then she goes off like a dragon, she says, and goes off on this guy for saying he's shocked his wife is leaving him. That's next level manipulative. That's next level controlling. That's next level toxic. And here she is telling the world thinking she's basically done nothing wrong. Unbelievable.
So he responded right away and he's like, fine, let's just go ahead and finalize the details. And that was that.
And she didn't like that. No, I don't think that's appropriate either. Unbelievable.
And I just was like, I looked at my therapist and I was just like kind of stunned. Like I knew that I was ready to leave that day, but.
And so here she just said, I was stunned. It kind of sounds like shocked, huh? I was stunned that he was shocked. Oh my God. Oh, but it's okay for you to be stunned, is that right?
I couldn't believe that was his reaction. There was no empathy, there was no compassion, there was no like wanting to fight for us, which I didn't think that there would be, but you just always hope that like one last try, We went home that night. We didn't.
Does initiating a divorce sound like one last try? Sounds like your final giving up. How are you? One last try. So she expects him to give one last try after her final declaration of giving the fuck up.
He slept on the couch. I woke up and went to work the next day, came home. He was playing PlayStation that night. I sat next to him. We hadn't talked in 24 hours. And I said, can we talk about what happened yesterday? And he was just playing, just looking straight ahead. And he's like, what's to talk about?
That's right. What's
in my mind, I'm thinking, this is our last ditch effort to like steer the ship around,
So it was a bluff. It was a bluff divorce. So she comes next to him and she's like, hey, you want to talk? Do you want to maybe try and not get divorced? He's like, no, it's fine. It's fine. We can get divorced. And that's really what she's mad about.
And I was like, so what are we going to do?
You're going to get divorced.
And he just kept playing. And he was like, I already got an apartment. I already took my name off of the lease. He had done things within that 24 hours. He had opened up the filing folder of his single man life and went ahead and got all this shit done.
Boss.
So he can say he was shocked, but you cannot tell me that a person that is shocked would have gotten all that shit taken care of if they weren't already planning on doing it themselves.
It's not true. It's a reaction to the shock. It's radical acceptance and just not giving a fuck anymore and just trying to move on. There's no correlation there.
And we were not happy. Like, I don't blame him for dreaming about a different life. Like, I was also. But to say that he was shocked really, really pissed me off because I'm like, okay, I've been spending 2 years working on this marriage. Where have you been if you're really shocked? And then secondly, like, this isn't just my fault. This is us together. So don't act like I pulled the rug out from under you. You were like secretly like wanting to leave also. You just didn't have the guts to say it, and I did. So it was like within a couple days he moved out. It was right before Christmas. And it actually did release all the tension from us. I mean, we sat down and had a talk with our daughter, and we were in agreement, and we said, Mommy and Daddy think that we would be better parents to you if we didn't live in the same house. And she was kind of like, okay. Overall, it was the best decision that we both ever made. We're both much happier now, but yeah, he says he was shocked, but let's be honest.
Dude, these chicks, I just like, I can't believe these are real people. How any man could fall in love with a woman like this and commit to her, I just like, I don't understand it. I really don't get it. So she expects him to say, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. It's like, so he can't even have like his own response to you telling him you're going to leave him. Like he has to respond how you want to. Does that not tell us enough about this woman and who was the real toxic one? Who was the real demanding one? Who was the real one who just like is basically incapable of being a wife, incapable of getting along with her? She expected him to say, yeah, I get it. But why would he? She just told him his marriage is over. He's literally processing a life-changing moment. But because he didn't react the way that she wanted, now she's offended. Oh God! So she wanted to control everything, not just the breakup, but his response as well. And then she makes it his fault, right? If you're shocked, you weren't paying attention. No, maybe he was holding on, thinking things could improve, right? And then she goes on to say, this isn't just my fault. This is us together. Well, then why did you have to be the one to say it? If it was so mutual, why did you need a therapy session to drop the bomb? Right? If it was so expected, why did you have to set up this entire thing to kind of ambush him? Like, it doesn't really sound like he expected this. Again, it sounds like he was holding on, hoping things would improve. And then, you've got another contradiction where she's mad that he moved on too fast, but isn't that what she wanted? Isn't that what she is actually expecting here? That he's already checked out? And he'd be like, yeah, I get it. So she's mad at the end here that he's moved on too fast, but in the beginning and throughout this, it actually sounds like that's what she wanted and expected and assumed. Like if truthfully, let's be so real. If truthfully she was already as mentally checked out as she claims to be, which I don't really believe her, why is she so mad that he didn't fall apart or respond the way she expect? If you're so mentally checked out, you don't really give a fuck how they respond because you're mentally checked, you're done. But the truth is, she wasn't mentally checked out. It was a bluff. She wanted him to fight for her as these women naturally do. So, bullshit. She wasn't mentally checked out. And let's be real, right? If he did try to talk her out of it, she'd find a way to complain about that as well. There's really no winning with a woman like this. And like I said, the real reason I believe she's mad is that he didn't beg, he didn't plead, he didn't cry, and that's exactly what pissed her off. She didn't get a reaction. She didn't get that satisfying, gratifying reaction. Because within 24 hours, she said that he had an apartment lined up. He took his name off the lease. Just pretty much everything squared away. And just like she thought she was in control, right? She thought she was steering the ship. She thought she was steering the breakup. But instead of falling apart, he just handled business. And that's what really broke her ego. And then, we've got the coping here. Overall, it was the best decision we ever made, right? And here she is, making this video. She's the one left to make TikToks about this situation. That screams happiness, doesn't it? Yeah. But it sounds like the reality is that he was willing to be done. He was also willing to fight for it. But once she said she was done, that's it. That he checked out. Done. I'm not going to play these games. Over. And that's exactly what happened. Yep, that's exactly what happened. She wanted him to fight, but he just walked away. No, I'm not going to do this. You're done? Okay, me too. We'll call it quits here. Notice how they had a therapist too. And yet, this marriage ended. It's do these therapists, what do they do? What's the point of them? Whose idea is it? I guarantee it's almost always the woman's. Yeah, I just it doesn't really seem like it does anything. And like I said, now she's the one stuck making TikToks about this whole situation. Oh, man. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. And I feel bad for this guy having to deal with her as long as he did. Just imagine, just listening to her contradictions and her manipulative behavior and her controlling attitude just tells you so much about what that marriage must have been like. And thank God for this guy. Good for him. He's done. Doesn't have to deal with this chick anymore. And like I said, how men are able to fall in love with women like this, I don't even understand it. To me, this is I better not say it. I better go ahead and end it there, in which I am going to. So if you enjoyed that, I would appreciate a subscription and a like. Check out some of the other videos, and I'll see you later.